Shannon would later get a casting agent who started sending her out on auditions. One of those auditions would be with WCW, who was trying to cast the role of David Flair's crazy girlfriend. Daffney would first appear on WCW December 6, 99's Nitro in a pre-taped segment about an hour and 1 minute into the show. Tony Schiavone sets up that fans have been sending in tapes of Nitro parties, which is clearly a lie. Daffney, looking all mall goth and such, appears holding a teddy bear, shaking back and forth, and making what I can only describe as a Nick Alexander amount of eye contact with the camera.
Oh, that's amazing.
And accurate. Like, nailed it. Like, are you sure you're not Daphne's brother? Like,
in the background, you can see a little shrine to David, and she mentions how cool David is. And this is just a nice little subtle nugget of an introduction to an angle. It comes off really real feeling and just weird, and they just kind of move on with the show. Don't make a big fuss about it. Then Daffney would show up for real at 99 Starrcade, and this is WCW's big show, so like pretty high pressure situation to toss this actor with no wrestling experience in front of 8,500 people.
I think WCW did this a lot with some of the women. They were trying to find a way to capitalize on women in the most late 90s, early 2000s way that people in charge of wrestling thought. They're like, we need to get more broads watching the show. What do we need to do? We should get some more women out there. So we got to parade them out doing women's shit. I don't know. Like, and they're just like trying to put more of an influx of females on the show, thinking that just alone draws women to the program. And I remember them taking a lot of Nitro girls at this time, and then obviously going to actresses and like, we can't have women wrestle. Let's get some models in here and do something with them. Like, just that backwards of thinking. But sometimes that leads to some amazing people showing up. Like, people gave diva searches a lot of shit, but there was some really good, talented people that made careers out of that opportunity. You look at someone like Maria Kanellis and the fact that she's, basically married into wrestling to an extent. And the way they found Daffney was no different than some of the model searches they would do, just doing an open casting call, and they found somebody that ended up being in wrestling for decades. So that was something that always came up with Daffney, especially when she was like taking her wrestling very seriously, and people would be like, what do you think about these diva search girls getting opportunities straight out of a casting call or finding them in fitness models and then giving them a contract? Daffney would be like, how do you think I got here? This is why I'm here. This is how it happened for me. They just threw me out there because I was a woman and I lived up to the opportunity.
I'll give her a ton of credit that she came in that way, and like we said, she didn't love wrestling the way that somebody who might get in it the traditional way did, but she fell in love with it, and as she went and WCW closed down, she worked and became a better wrestler. And there's so many of those people from the diva searches or from the talent calls like that get their opportunity, and then when it's done, they're done. And she kept at it, and she improved, and she really nailed it as a performer.